there's my old warhorse. Now in the early 90s, this case, and of course what's inside, stood me in good stead for mobile gaming. Of course I'm talking about my original DMG, and an assortment of games, and even an original game link. I wonder if that's worth money, I don't know. The historical curiosity of the case aside, today we're going to focus on refurbishing my original DMG. Now the Gameboy DMG, the OG, oh hey, there's a game in there. Da-da-da-da-da-da. They call it the DMG because it says DMG 01. Now you know what? I'm going to put that game back in there. I'm going to show you, mine works pretty well. Let's find some batteries. Got my trusty power owls. Ugh. Everything on here runs okay, so I don't have to do a new screen, and I want to keep it original, so I'm not going to add a backlight or do any kind of crazy stuff like that. What we're going to do is de-8-year-old zoify this. Now, when I was a kid, Nintendo Power gave away stickers for your Game Boy, for your NES, your Super Nintendo. I think they did it all the way to the N64. I know they did it all the way to the N64, actually, because I have stickers on my original controllers. And while this was super cool when I was in 3rd grade, not so much now. So, hey, wait a minute. What's that noise? It wasn't the Game Boy. What's that noise? Why is my phone buzzing? Wait a minute. Oh crap, it's almost out of battery. Shoot. If it dies, I'm gonna lose the video. Where's my fast charger? Oh, it's the Ugreen UNO 100-watt robot charger. I need this phone to charge fast. So I'm using the top USB-C port to deliver up to 100 watts for anything that supports fast charging or that level of power. It could be an Android phone, an iPhone, a Mac, a PC, or even a higher-end handheld. This thing can put your ROG Ally X into turbo mode, or charge a 2023 MacBook Pro from 0 to 50 in just a little over half an hour, or an iPhone 15 Pro from 0 to 60 in 30 minutes flat. You can also charge 4 different things with varying levels of output. You're never going to get more than 100 watts out of here, but you can split 100 watts 4 different ways. You have 3 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A port. It's also relatively small, so chucking it in your bag with a few cords means you're set for a day at the office or a whole week on vacation. The UNO 100 also has the latest GONE Infinity chip, which enhances conversion efficiency, which means you get faster charging with a smaller charger, and you don't have to worry about a meltdown because this has thermal guard, which means it'll throttle down if it starts to get too hot. It also has a face. It's a weird little smiley guy by default, but it gets real excited when he's fast charging, and he's too cool for school once he's done or trickle charging. Obviously, you'll want to have him standing up for maximum coolness, but it'll also plug into the wall without falling out. The UNO 100 is just part of an entire line of Ugreen UNO products, including chargers, power banks, hubs, and cables. And they also support the new iPhone. I got a free sample of this guy's little brother last year at CES. And they also have dedicated magnetic 15-watt chargers like this guy. He's got the same face and design as the other UNOs, but he's got a Qi 2 wireless pad on top. And it pivots. Whoa! This standard will support Apple phones and some Android devices. And he's also got 2 USB-C ports on the bottom if you want to plug in perhaps just a wire to charge something else, or plug in a dedicated watch wireless charger, sold separately. 15 watts isn't going to charge your phone near as fast as the 100 watts, but it's perfect for a safe, long-term charging situation, like overnight on your nightstand, or at your desk at work. Both of these devices were just released, and Ugreen is a really solid company when it comes to chargers and cords. I bought a bunch of Ugreen stuff on my own before we even thought about doing ads. So if you're looking for a cool charger that can support anything from your phone to your powerhouse laptop, check out the UNO line today! That was weird. Anyway, my phone charged about 10% in the last 3 minutes while I was doing that commercial, and it's zooming along. So let's get back to filming. So what we're going to do first is peel off these stickers. Ugh. Hopefully it's not too grody underneath. We're going to give this sucker a real good bath once we disassemble it. Ew, oh, geez. There's a residue. I'm gonna have to go get the Goo Gone. Ugh, this isn't coming off clean. That's to be expected. Hopefully, it kept the actual Game Boy relatively pristine underneath. You can kind of see that gray is still there. It looks like it hasn't been yellowed or anything, which is good. I don't want to have to retro bright this, and I don't think I'm going to have to. That's pretty cool. So let's fast motion me peeling these stickers off, and then we'll start to disassemble it. Uh-oh. I'm taking the screen out. The screen is coming off by itself, which honestly, since I'm going to disassemble this and clean it, that's not the end of the world. That actually saved me a step. Ew, deputy dog. I'm surprised that didn't fall out on its own. If you ever wonder why I'm so adamant that headphone jack on the bottom is the correct configuration, it's because of this. The headphone jack was on the bottom. You don't want your cord dangling all over you. There's some more stickers to go, but I want to start disassembling this. You can see, though, that the original gray color underneath is actually well preserved because of that sticker. So let's put this lens to the side and take that game out. Take these batteries out. Put these in a safe spot. And disassembly. Now, you're going to want to have a toolkit that has a Y1 tri-wing screw, and mine is right there, Y1 tri-wing screw. Nintendo really didn't want you to get in here, so they used a completely non-standard screw. There are 6 of these on the back. And then once you get past these tri-wings, they switch over to regular Phillips, which is just, I guess, to confuse you. Although it does help you not to get the screws mixed up later. Get out of there. The front of this is going to get a pretty good thorough cleaning, but I think the back I'm going to try to spot treat just because I don't want to lose my stickers or my 1-800 number, although that's not in great shape. I'm going to try to fix that up a little bit. All right, now that this is open, you want to just kind of fold it because there's a ribbon on top. And it's relatively sturdy, but if you break it, then your Game Boy won't work. So just slide it out. There we go. Easy peasy. So now we have the back we're going to put over there, and the front. Let's go back to regular Phillips. Where are they? A lot of screws. They really didn't want this thing to fall out. Maybe this is why they were relatively bomb-proof in the Gulf War. Gary, put an image of that on the screen, please. Pry this out gently. It's kind of held in with a little bit of tape. Just kind of go around the corners here. Lift. Just ever so gently. Make sure you got all the screws out. That's also helpful. Sometimes you even twist it a little bit. Push back. Gently work it out. Break that adhesive a little bit. There you go. There you go. There you go. Gently. It's sticking to my mat. There we go. There we go. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here are the guts of your screen. Now mine isn't too bad. Not bad at all. I'm going to take these membranes off, and I'm going to clean this with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. But otherwise, the board itself isn't bad. Oh, as I say that, there's some sticky residue on the D-pad. Yuck. Well, that's what IPA is for. Back of it's in pretty good condition too, except this speaker. The speaker has a lot of corrosion on it. I wonder... The speaker works. I wonder if something blew or at some point a battery got gunky. Okay, let's put this off to the side. We'll put all of our buttons and our membranes off to the side. This front plate here and all of these buttons and membranes are going to get a real nice scrub. Let's continue disassembling the back piece, which mercifully only has a couple screws. Okay. Here's your little power toggle. And you see here, outside of the back of that speaker, and a little bit of dust. This isn't grody at all. The battery compartment isn't too bad at all. There's some crud coming out of it. So I'm just going to try to do this with a toothbrush and some isopropyl alcohol, but we're not going to do deep submersion on this. Let's take this front piece and all these little buttons and stuff, and heck, let's clean that guy too. We're going to get this washed off in some soapy water. So here's where I made a big mistake because I was impatient. I had almost all the sticker gunk off, but some of it was stubborn. I grabbed Goof-Off, which is way too strong for this application, and promptly rubbed off part of the text in Gameboy. It's such a stupid move because I could have just dripped some IPA on the residue and waited. So take your time. Here I am noticing it. Yeah, Pazu, you did screw up. Good work. The soapy water deactivated the chemical, but the damage was done. So now that everything's all rinsed, I'm putting the front shell, the A and B buttons, the D-pad, the power toggle, membranes, start and select button, and the screen on this dry paper towel. The screen looks kind of rough, but that's just the back where the glue was. Once the shell was rinsed and dried, the degradation stopped, but it still had some damage to the actual plastic. You can scrape a bit off with your nail. Ugh. If I was using this as a daily driver, I'd try to find some plastic polish or something to seal it. After Goof gone gate, I switched to IPA for the back. Between an old toothbrush and Q-tips, you can clean it pretty well. I used Q-tips and IPA for the PCB too. It wasn't that dirty, but I did give it a quick clean. You want to pay special attention to the wheels. Put a drop of IPA in there and spin them a little bit to clean the insides. Also make sure to clean the contacts for the buttons. It'll help make sure they register when you press them. This speaker's dirty as all get out. I'm not sure what's causing it, but it got on my mat and I moved it to a paper towel. The speaker works, so part of me thinks it's the remnants of some sort of rubber washer that just melted with time. I don't know. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. I just cleaned the wheels and the power toggle again. Really want to get a drop of IPA in there and work it in. Oh, here's the CPU and 2 RAM chips, by the way. Finishing up by giving the battery door a quick clean, and then I'm really going to focus on the contacts on these button membranes. I want to make them shiny. In order to get the screen back in, I got some double-sided tape and I cut it to fit the back of the lens and the inside of the case where the screen fits. There's nothing complicated about this part, except since it's double-sided tape, it usually sticks to everything and you have to be real careful with it. Okay. So, really just start to reassemble now. Get in there. There we go. Cheeky breeky. When I'm putting screws in any sort of plastic, I like to go backwards until I hear it click, and then I go in. There it goes. Helps you from stripping the threads in the plastic. Okay. You can see here the plastic's a little scuffed up. Don't be like me. I got Goof-Off. I thought it was Goo Gone. And there's a difference, because Goof-Off will start to eat the plastic. So we lost some of the B and the O and a little bit of the T on start. We're going to fix that up with a little bit of paint. We're going to polish this screen a little bit, but we're going to assemble it first. Before you put the circuit board in, put your buttons in. That's always helpful. You want to make sure everything's real dry. I waited a couple hours. I made real sure it's dry. You don't want wet stuff on the inside of your electronics. It's just a bad idea. I also made sure to clean these little contacts off real well with IPA. That'll help more precise button pressing. Is that how that goes? No. Get that on the stud there. Okay. Now I put a little bit of double-sided tape in here to help the screen stay in place. So we're going to carefully get this in here. Make sure all the little studs line up. Kind of press that down. Not too tight. Try to make sure that screen has kind of activated. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's try to get this thing all lined up. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Change our bits. I put those batteries. Okay. Hey, we're in business. You can see here where the Goof-Off apparently tried to melt the plastic on the side. Scuffed up where the stickers were. But let's give it a play test. Nice. Next step, I'm going to clean up Boy right here. Going to clean up the start and select a little bit with some paint. I'm going to try to match this paint and try to, I don't know, balance out that finish a little bit. And then I definitely need to get some polish and polish this screen. I want to keep everything OEM, as it were, but I could get a new lens for really, really cheap and it would look a lot better than this one. But, hey man, this guy's been through the wars and he looks much, much better. Much, much better. Gary, can you do a split screen from the beginning of the video? Huh? So not too bad for my very first Game Boy restoration. So I guess it's time for a real quick, what did we learn? We learned, don't use Goo-Off. I thought I had Goo Gone, and it doesn't help that they're pretty much the same label, but Goo Gone is a lot gentler. Goo-Off, it's apparently just acetone, and it ate some of the plastic and some of the letters, which is kind of a bummer. But I really was having a hard time getting those stickers off. I'd recommend if you're trying to get stickers off, just be patient. Take a little bit more time. Use some IPA. I just noticed a little bit of crud on the top here. There you go. Now your isopropyl alcohol might be a little slower, but the benefit is you won't scuff up your almost 40-year-old plastic. But you know what? It's not too bad for a first try, and I think it looks a lot better. It'll look really good once I get these letters fixed up, but it looks a lot better than that sticker-covered monstrosity I was using. Now this is going to be destined to be a shelf princess, so I don't need to worry about sealing it after I touch up the paint because I'm probably not going to play it that much, but it does look a lot better. So I guess we learned, don't use acetone on your Game Boy, and take your time. Never try to rush it. And we also learned that our friends at Ugreen have a wide selection of UNO chargers that you can choose from. So if you thought this video was helpful, if you thought it was funny when I scratched it, if you thought my crude attempts to restore this in the first place were funny, then give us a like and a subscribe. Haven't really done a lot of classic system teardown, so if you do like that, let us know. Maybe we'll do some more, break some more of our old original equipment stuff. And stay tuned. We got all sorts of other stuff coming out this week and into the month and then into the end of the year. Christmas is coming. So stay tuned for all the major deals and all sorts of new handheld releases that will be out soon. See you later. Goodbye.